Now Season 4 servers have ended one after another, and you must be curious about what's new in Season 5. In this video, I will tell you more about Season 5, and here comes the new content of Season 5. Season 5 has many new characters. There is one new boss, 2 new commanders, and 4 neutral units. The new boss is the Watcher in the Water of the West Gate of Moria, and you can challenge it throughout the whole season. When you see its name, you might feel a bit strange, so let's look at the movie clips to recall what it looks like. Oh, wow, it looks really scary, but we're still going to try to fight it, which we might receive a lot of prizes for this battle. Next are the 2 new commanders. Let's take a look at their shadow. Can you guess which race they are? Yes, they are the human race and maybe she is the evil man. Alright, starting off, Isildur, Elendil's son. Maybe Elendil is more famous than Isildur. Isildur is also the king of men. Looking forward to seeing if he will work well with mounted units. Sunid, a Haradrim warrior and renowned strategist. She can always win in the battle. She's a very powerful commander. I guess that she and the Uruk-hai will have to work well together. Next up are the 4 new neutral units, Spirit of the Wood, Werewolf, Coldrake, and Depths Defender. The Werewolf is a melee unit with high damage and high HP, but his siege stat is very general, worse than the large units. Focus damage is hurting it a lot, but it is better at attacking mounted units and beasts. It has a damage bonus skill that can cause bleeding to a unit, which is more suitable for battlefields without buildings. The Uruk-hai units of the Breaker Layer. The commanders who are good at countering it are Sauron and the Witch King. Their focus damage will kill werewolves easily, and it can also be good against Eowyn and Rohan commanders and units. When you want to occupy a building, you do not need to bring it though. The siege is quite low and the battlefields are not favorable to it. Next up are the Coldrakes, which makes me feel like I'm seeing Jurassic World. They have high siege, high HP, and high defense, and also having high damage bonus to units other than large units and can't be healed. It has a defense bonus for burning damage, plus its own defense skill, plus a defense bonus in the battlefield where there are no buildings. It is best at faction border defense. Skills to resist enemy attacks and siege is not low, which can ruin enemies' forts easily. It can counter the Uruk-hai units of Breaker Layer and healing commanders such as Arwen and Galadriel. But when it is led by a healing commander, it can be perfect. This combo has constantly recovering HP and high defense. Next up we have Spirit of the Wood, who is like a crazy ant with crazy damage. The damage stat is really too high, and it is good at focus damage, the opposite of the werewolf. And it also has a defense bonus to focus damage. It is a tree, so burning damage can hurt it a lot, and recover HP skills can reduce the number of soldiers dead after the war. Spirit of the Wood's enemies are definitely the Uruk-hai units of Breaker Layer and other units with burning damage. If you let it fight with the Mountain Troll, which can attract Uruk-hai units of Breaker to attack themselves, then in the first 3 rounds the Spirit of the Wood will definitely be able to cause serious damage to the enemies. Now we have Depths Defenders, who is short as ever, but it's special. It doesn't have very good stats. The stats are all average, and it's the only one of the dwarf units that doesn't have any shortcomings of their stats. In terms of damage, HP, defense, speed, siege, that's what makes it so good, because normal dwarf units are either slow or have low damage or low siege. Its skill can reduce the damage and defense of the enemies depending on the number of Depths Defender. And it can also turn its normal damage into burning damage when it receives burning damage, meaning a dwarf unit can attack with burning damage. It deals damage bonuses to enemies with stun and madness, and defense bonuses to melee units. It is certainly best to go against Breaker Layer so that it makes themselves stronger and getting burning damage. It is best paired with a commander who has the stun and madness skills. Sauron is great because he has both these two skills. The focus of Season 5 is still on Faction Alliance. You may say that the Faction Alliance is something that has already there in Rebuilding Glory, so why bring it back? You have to believe that this is not your normal Faction Alliance. Let's start with a new organization. The Council, where up to 5 of the top players from each faction's fellowship/warband are selected to form a council. The member list will be updated weekly. As a side note, the severe progress function is required to create an alliance faction. The first step is to send the proposal to the council of your own faction and get 3 members to agree to it. Then you can proceed to the next step, which should be easy to pass. The second step is to send the proposal to the council of the opposing faction, which also requires the approval of 3 members, which also seems easy to pass. Then the third step requires the approval of 60% of the opposing faction's tacticians. The fourth step is to give the new camp a name. Where there is establishment, there is abolishing. As long as 3 council members agree to abolish the alliance faction, the proposal will be sent directly to all tacticians for a vote. And as long as 60% of the tacticians approve the proposal, the alliance faction will be abolished. It is also important to note that there are only 3 opportunities in a season to make alliances with other factions. In RP server, the good faction can only make alliances with the good factions, and the same goes for evil factions. On the non-RP server, the good factions are free to ally with the evil factions. Season 5 also features a new building, Elite Training Grounds, which can be unlocked when the main hall is upgraded to level 7. What is this building used for? There are 3 stages of elite units. Stage 1. Elite units will have a new skill based on 3 armor types: light armor, heavy, and armor or no armor. Light armor can counter ranged attacks, and heavy armor can counter melee attacks. Stage 2. This stage will provide a weapon skill, melee weapon skill, ranged weapon skill, and no weapon skill. Stage 3. This stage's skills are based on the unit's races. Different races have their own status, such as HP, attack, defense, and speed, but all races have the same skill, which can shorten time and cost of conscription. There is no such thing as a free lunch, so to become an elite unit, you need to prepare 3 items: coins, elite medals, and Tome of Awakening of each race. You can get these items in 2 ways. First way is to sweep mobs, and the second way is to finish 10 training regimes at the Master at Arms at the tavern per week. So let's get involved in Season 5, set up new alliance factions, train common units, and meet these new friends. And that's it for this video, and I will see you next time.